I'm Deepak Chopra. You're watching One World with Deepak Chopra, coming to you from New York City, from Deepak Home Base, my headquarters when I'm in New York. And my very special guest this morning is the legendary Kenneth Cole. Who hasn't heard of Kenneth Cole? But today we're going to see a different side of him, if he'll allow us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Deepak.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan.
I want to know a little bit more about you, other than all this public persona that a lot of people are familiar with. We'll get into that too. But where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York, on Long Island, and I aspire to grow up further in New York.
Did you have any, every
Westchester.
child has these fantasies, what am I going to do when I grow up?
I still do.
Okay, that's good. That's
still,
like me.
when I grow up, I've never really thought in such grand terms. And even when I started my business, I always thought just a little bit ahead, and today has become a great attribute. It was probably a liability when we were a public company, because as a public company you need to articulate very precisely where you're going to be at a certain point in time, and the value of your enterprise is based upon what you're going to be worth as opposed to where you currently are today. So, and it wasn't something that I did naturally, and everything is changing so fast, and I think today you need to, and I believe, build kind of a core foundation based upon the ability to respond to opportunities and change as it presents itself. I was speaking to somebody not that long ago, and they said, well, so you've changed your business a lot, or maybe you haven't, but where will you think it will be, or where will the world be in 5 years, because we know how fast things are changing. I said, you can't ask that question. It's almost an irrelevant question today. And they said, well, why is that irrelevant? I said, because 5 years ago, I don't know about you, but I know I didn't know what posting and tweeting and Googling and pinning and posting and friending and liking, and today.
I was shocked when I saw my first fax machine.
Yeah, and that was like 15 minutes ago. And then today, those things are not only are they part of our lives, they're defining our lives, and they're how we communicate our lives and how we transact every day. So, and none of them were even in anybody's vocabulary 5 years ago. So now, where to think we're going to be down the road? And I think it's not productive use, I think, of our resources to try to even anticipate that, because it's just.
But I do have fantasies, though. I mean, I think maybe in a few years we'll be able to, since we now have genomics down, we should be able to take your gene code and email it to a distant planet in another galaxy, and then use robotics to seed the stars and galaxies with Kenneth Cole brand. I think that's not way out of line.
So how many seasons from now is that?
That I can't predict.
That's pretty.
But there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to create biospheres in other planets. There are about 300 million planets in our own galaxy that are possibly habitable if we could create the right biosphere. And we should be able to use robotics, gene technology to do that, and then colonize these different planets and open up shops, sell shoes.
I'm totally fascinated with the notion, and that was even far greater than even tweeting, posting, and liking.